Oh, yeah. Welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is US Comics Cast, HQ for all things comic book connected. Charlie, happy Thursday, which is like, it's not really comic book day.
Today's Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Happy comic book day. I hate the week.
You're not a fan of the week. Happy Comic Book Day a third time. And thank you, everyone who is listening and watching today. We are live, and we are, as always, brought to you by Bad Mary Van and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please hit that comment section like you're trying to staple a hair system onto your very bald, very, very rotten scalp.
That's a rumor.
I always feel like I'm going to wake up one day and all my hair will be missing, knowing I could just staple on a wig. Is kind of a good alternative.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not an option.
I mean, I like comic books, so people will get the reference.
God willing. I think it's comic.
That's true. That's true. So we're back on a Wednesday, which is amazing. But it's because you're busy doing all the arts and a few of the farts.
No, I'm not.
You're doing
none of the farts.
Where are those farts coming from?
I mean, I'm just hoping that's not the A material.
Fair enough. It's not even the B material.
All right. That's fair enough. But in any case, look, everyone has seen it.
It's true.
So for us not to talk about it at this point ad nauseum, and for the entirety of an episode to really just be, it would be rude. It would be rude. It would be silly. Dare I say, a silly nanny maker of us all. So obviously we are going to talk the entire episode deep. Deadpool and Wolverine.
But we're brothers, so we can't talk deep alone. And also, I feel like your ego over the last few episodes has been big, so I'm gonna make us teeny tiny. Look how little and petite we are.
You can barely make out the terrible pattern of my shirt.
I love
that tiny.
I lost so much weight when we're in the tiny window.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Cousin Paul asking about the multiversal episode just to get his Fantastic Four quicker.
Cousin Paul, just anything to get Fantastic Four in there, huh? I gotta love it.
The thing is, we're better than Fantastic Four. One might argue we might become one better. Not yet. Maybe one day.
Remains to be seen. Let's see how the scheduling issues go. But,
that's true.
But yeah, no, the multiverse is rich.
It's true.
It's rich. Naturally, we can tell you our shared opinion. We have really just one opinion about most topics, but definitely in regards to Deadpool and Wolverine. So maybe we bring in a couple of variant, geek/nerds, just to really round out and get the echo chamber going. So Charlie, go ahead and hit the variant box button. However the hell they justify it. There's like, boop, it just happens.
For this one,
just
instead of using
invisible elevator.
I like technology. We're going to use a TVA portal to bring in Charlie from Earth 10005. The one,
aka tell him, aka bot, also known as.
We have pre-made names for them.
No, just
I was doing a whole rant.
Oh, were you? I'm sorry. Rewind that shit back and rant. Go.
Using a TVA portal, we bring you from Earth 10005, the alt Charlie, the incredible, the beautiful head shape, the one, the only Andrew. Welcome to the show.
Here I am.
Maybe mention that in the pre-show. Yeah, Andrew, welcome to the show. I do
it's
hope
me,
that
the Charlie variant with slightly more privilege, but that's it.
Gets pulled over 10% less.
I didn't want to be the one to mention it, but you know what? Good for you. You worked for that and have earned it.
Also, he has a huge-sized member. I go Ryan-sized. I go Canadian. No? Too much? We'll new.
No. Sit in it.
All right.
Just.
It's only huge and metric. It's fine.
It's very kind of you to bail him out. But let's go ahead and let's get a little bit more on the opinion scale. Let's go ahead and bring in the alt. I don't know, the variant Squidward that we have on deck. Just again, get a little bit more of the opinion game going.
Does
Charlie.
He play flute?
Just hit the button. Let's bring him in. Yes, Brendan, a.k.a.
Oh, God.
Pirate Deadpool. Oh, just the costumes, just unbelievable. I love it. I love it. Friends, Romans, countrymen, thank you for joining us. We may get even one more variant. Let's see what happens. But
there's room for one.
I just have to believe in my heart of hearts that these are conversations that just could not be contained. How badly, how soon, let me ask this question. Obviously, you both enjoyed the fragrant deliciousness that was Deadpool and Wolverine. How far out of the theater were you before you had the thought, I have to talk to somebody about this? I have to talk about everything that I just visually imbibed.
Brendan, we'll start with you because you have the greatest hat. Sorry, Andrew's hat.
Andrew, your hat was still pretty good, though.
I'm pretty sure I literally asked somebody who worked at Island 16 as soon as I walked out of the movie theater, hey, did you see this yet? Because I got thoughts.
Fucking
so I didn't make it too far out.
Right. Good. I can appreciate that. You certainly did not see Sidewalk outside the theater. Andrew, what about you? Because I know we were catching some texts pretty quick.
I think immediately as soon as I walked out the theater, I texted everyone. I was like, wake up, we got to talk about it. Charlie, we're going to talk about this right now.
I need to get this out of my system.
At least Charlie responded to my text. That's why Charlie's my favorite host.
Charlie's awake till the sun starts coming up and the stars are still twinkling while I'm like zip 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 zip.
Yeah, so he's the most dedicated.
I'm old. Yeah, and he's got slightly less gray hair, so he's up. He's
Probably
up.
not true. This is just a lot of shoe polish.
That's fine by me.
Speaking of shoe polish, mother suckers, we can't do this with four guys who I would identify as Deadpoolish. No offense to anyone's physique other than my own, some offense to mine. But let's be honest, if we were in a multiverse of madness, John's looking like the Doctor Strange variant of Deadpool. Beautiful skin, great goatee. He does a lot of this shit when he's, ladies love it. Ladies love when you make a fucking
cleaning the windows.
Marvel. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, sure.
Andrew, like I said, he's a variant of me. He's hanging out with Deadpool. We know he's a Deadpool. Look at Brendan's outfit. We know he's a Deadpool. You cannot have a conversation about Deadpool and Wolverine without bringing in a certified expert.
At least one.
My personal choice for the next actor to play Wolverine in the MCU. The one, the only. He has a doctorate in being jacked as fuck. That, of course, is our boy Bill.
Bill, what is up, Dr. O'Leary?
What's up, Bubs? How are you guys?
Appreciate you being here. So, yeah, I think we have our quota filled of variants for the Convo. So, Bill, we started off asking really how soon after the flick were you just dying to have outside conversations about said flick?
So I am lucky because I have a living Wolverine. We named him after it. So we do have a son named Logan. And
some of us have to buy our merch. You made one. Well done.
It was thank you. It was it worked. It was all to this moment. It's like knowing that 19 years later we're gonna have this conversation.
It's gonna happen.
We go right into it, which is great. So we see it as a family, and we get to go into the whole skate rating, what do we score it, and all the other stuff. And so it's nice, but it is nice to get in with some fellow nerds and be like, all right, let's break all these things down, because I have to explain it all to my wife. She doesn't know a lot of the variant stuff. She knew In Sync, so we had that.
so it started strong for her. I like that. So this is what I'm thinking in regards to the episode. So is everybody comfortable going spoiler light for maybe half of the? No, we're not talking about warm up. Going spoiler light for half the show and spoiler. Fuck them if they can't take a joke. Spoiler heavy.
A solid strategy.
Yeah? All right. So
although the ratio of people who love comic books enough to watch and listen to this show, but are like, didn't get a chance for Deadpool and Wolverine yet. I know people who call that a work for Deadpool and Wolverine, and told the truth about it. They were like, "Fuck off! I got shit to do." And it's very, very.
This movie is personal to me, so I'm taking a personal day.
Exactly right. But
talk to my attorney.
I think that's the best strategy. John and I were able to see it together. So that conversation happened very rudely in about 10 minutes into the
Ooh,
film, we started
my God.
talking about it
Oh yeah,
in real time. By the time we wound up in Cameo City via the Void, which has been spoiled all over the place, but again, we'll hold it back. This was one of those movies that, for me, one of the most important questions isn't what you thought about the film. We'll get to that. It's not what your favorite part was. We'll get to that. It's not what the characters even mean to you. What I want to know is how you felt during that film. And I ask you that to spoil a John story. I turned to John and I said, my face hurts from laughing.
And I said, your face is killing me.
That's what he said. And then he mushed a cake into my face. It was very weird.
Take that.
John said he spent 2 hours smiling. So what I want to know is that sort of instant, what was your body's reaction to Deadpool and Wolverine? We're going to start with the man who made a Logan, Bill. When you're sitting down for this film, your cup runneth over with Wolverine live action appearances.
They might skip Christmas for you this year, Bill, because I
got
can't
the
imagine
tattoo.
like, what else. What could they possibly have given you more?
You know, the fact is, Bill, of all of us, you probably have your favorite hero represented the most in live action. So this was kind of a return of Hugh said he put the costume away. He put the claws away.
What costume? He never had a costume.
That's true. He put his dirty tank top away.
Damn Australian lion bastard.
Now he's back, and he's in the yellow and blues, and he's running around with fucking Deadpool. What was your body's visceral reaction to seeing this flick?
So, and it started with me when they had the commercial, and Ryan Reynolds was talking about Deadpool, and then he was walking in the background. It's like, hey, Hugh, you want to be Wolverine? And the guy's like, yeah, all right, let's do it. And so it's really been building since that moment. I was literally looking at my wife and the kids, just like watching their faces, because we were just, especially like the first 30 minutes, we just kept laughing. And so it was just like moment after moment, which is so cool. And I know we can't go spoilers, so it can't. But we know there's Wolverine variants. Seeing a lot of the variants was very, very cool. And so of course you're thinking about like, oh, this one or that one. But the fact that they even came up with ones, you're like, oh shoot, they did that, which is freaking awesome.
What's your affinity for Deadpool? Are you also a big Deadpool fan?
Yeah, I was so crushed with Wolverine Origins. And having Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool, and it was so for you, it's so cool that they, fixed that. But that's what we had to live with for years, which sucked. So the fact that they just they did it, it's flawless. Like it's just one of those perfect casting situations. He gets it, and the fact that they've been allowed to run with that was phenomenal. Like to have Disney say, all right, don't Disney-fy it, just do it.
It's amazing what a movie that makes money can do to their decision-making processes.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's terrible. Never gonna make. How much? Let's put it on the books. Let's get those cameras rolling, baby.
What always blew me away about the Deadpool Ryan Reynolds relationship was the idea of Deadpool. It's perfect scissor harmony.
That's fair.
Ryan Reynolds didn't grow up loving Deadpool.
Right.
He stars in Blade Trinity, arguably doing a Deadpool impersonation accidentally. He didn't know the character.
Yeah.
The producer thought he would be a great Deadpool, sent them some comics. One of the comics references Ryan Reynolds, saying that it looks like Ryan Reynolds was face loved by a Shar-Pei, and that's what the merc with the mouth looks like. So him falling in love with that character because of a reference to himself seems like
that's how I fall in love with most stuff.
It's just
if you just work me into the conversation, I'm like, all right, that sounds great. I'm all in.
Is that we like Gargoyles and like every villain from the 90s? They're a John clone with a goatee.
100%.
Fair enough. That character, finding that character.
They just made a movie starring me again. I'm like, where's my check?
Yeah.
Where is my check?
They could save so much money. They wouldn't have to animate it.
I know.
Just live action, you're ahead on the character.
Pathetic.
Let's move on to the greatest hat in the game. Brendan.
Strong heavyweight choice.
Anyone who knows you, of all the theatrical sumbitches on earth, you're the one that I would be like, yeah, this motherfucker loves Deadpool. So I'm going to ask you the reverse question because that one's too obvious. What's your feelings on Logan? Where does Wolverine fall in your in your zeitgeist of shit you love? I used that word totally wrong.
Charlie loves that word like you read about.
Big league.
So Wolverine's always been one of my favorite X-Men, like even from the animated series. Granted, when we got the first live action X-Men, Hugh Jackman is not this short, Canadian that we're used to. However, I grew up attached to that version of Wolverine. So
Sure.
like not even just getting to see him back in Deadpool and Wolverine, like when they greenlit Old Man Logan as a movie, like even that was like perfection for that point of 20th Century Fox.
Of course.
So getting to see Wolverine on the screen at any point is cool with me. Even if he was in the film for 2 seconds, I still would have been like, yeah, oh man,
Yep.
They really rickrolled us. That was good.
Originally, it was called Deadpool and Friend, and it leaked online the night before the Super Bowl, I think, ad, and everyone hated it so much on Twitter. They were like, fuck me, someone write the word Wolverine cool. The first time they announced Deadpool and Wolverine, it was a temp Wolverine font.
Yeah.
They were just like, fucking paint the Deadpool font yellow. Fucking duck. Well, that sort of panic, that sort of desire to meet what people want, from even a stage as simple as the title, speaks volumes to at least the intent of this
I
film.
don't know. I think that was kind of like a knee-jerk type of...
You don't think anyone would have given a fuck?
They could have called it Deadpool and the Yellow Rubber Duck. And then the
Wait,
second
is that
they
are they
had
doing that movie?
No. They could have really done anything in terms of like title. Nobody ran out and bought tickets at Super Bowl for this fucking movie. The second that first visual, you didn't even need to see Wolverine. You only needed to see his shadow in the fucking wastelands or whatever. And then the snick, bub. That's it. That's an automatic ticket seller as far as I'm concerned. But I also understand. Look, Marvel in general has taken some black eyes, so they really kind of needed this to be an absolute banger, and fuck, it was. I mean, Deadpool / Ryan Reynolds makes multiple inferences to like, you're going to be doing this forever. You will be 90 years old and still be doing this shit because when it's handled properly, when it's handled properly, the proper tea just gives and gives and gives. There's a reason why Wolverine was attacked. It was Wolverine and the X-Men in like much of the 90s material that was put out there. There was not a question at all who mommy's favorite was.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry, baby. Andrew, what about yourself? Well, let me ask you this question. Would you say you're going into the movie, were you more of a Deadpool or more of a Wolverine fan? I know it's unfair to make you choose Coke or Pepsi, but choose!
Is it unfair because he looks like a hybrid of the two characters?
It could be.
I'll take it, I think.
And granted, you have a head pull behind you, but I'm going to stick to the question. Are you more Deadpool or more Wolverine?
I think like growing up, definitely more Wolverine.
Okay.
But because I was never big into Deadpool until Ryan Reynolds. But I think we talked about this a while back, but I wasn't a huge fan of either. Like I was
really,
because like when I watched the X-Men movies, like the original ones, I was like, this is too much Wolverine. They were to me, I was like, man, what are they doing to Cyclops? Like it was breaking my heart. So I was kind of getting sick of Wolverine, but then I unironically loved X-Men Origins, and I loved Logan. It was a great movie. But then, and then even this movie, I was
killing
like,
Bill.
Killing
Bill as he's dead.
We're separated through a screen. He can't kill me. It's fine.
But he's right behind you.
He's always right behind you.
Up until the final trailer they released, I was still on the fence. But then,
wow,
that's impressive.
Because like I love Deadpool, but I love Deadpool in his little bubble, and I was very scared about him like creeping into the MCU and doing more stuff. But like something about that last trailer got me, and then it was it was amazing.
I mean, to me, I understand your feelings, but for my money, again, the MCU had been kind of sputtering for a minute there, to the point where in any other venue, like, it's shake 'em up time. So honestly, if this pitch had come after the first phase of Marvel, and Ryan Reynolds comes boop 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 boop, my movie made a couple of bucks. I have this great idea. They might have physically beat the shit out of him and thrown him out of the top of of Avengers fucking Tower. It never would have happened. My opinion, again, if not for the MCU kind of stutter stepping in recent years, this movie doesn't happen. Certainly not the way that it happened. There's not a fucking chance in hell. What do you think?
I think they would have never allowed him to be as unfettered as he was. I think Once Upon a Deadpool,
he had the leash off.
I think Once Upon a Deadpool kind of proved that you do need it to be an R, but the difference between an R-rated film and a hard R, when a blind woman is desperately spending a 2-hour runtime searching for cocaine, I think those are not similar R's. I think what the question marks that were left open by Marvel and what they were hoping would stick to the wall, not sticking to the wall, really did lead kind of, once they had the agreement with Ryan on the direction of the story, they were kind of like, just tell us what you need and we'll red light, green light it. Because it does feel like there was an option for, like, give me 10 people. I don't care what's
the question. If this is what we got, what did they say no to?
Oh my God, yeah.
I can't wrap my mind around that whatsoever.
Mouth love with Iron Man.
Like, he had sex with the old man Logan's bones.
Yeah.
Like, what did it have to be for them to say too much? That's a little too much. I truly can't imagine.
You know, the thing about the Marvel as a whole, and again, it's funny because I feel like we're on this endless cycle of, like, Marvel's dead, Marvel's back, Marvel's dead, Marvel's back.
That's not funny at all.
Fair enough. Tragic. We're tragically on that cycle.
Like, if I do think
it's great that Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool fit in this little, in case of emergency, break potty mouth glass.
Sure.
Because if nothing else, it's like, well, people still like this. Like, even if it is,
well, look, even for the stuff that Marvel has been putting out, and I use Marvel kind of collectively, all of the material. Snappy from the Lappy, Steffi joining in. Hi, Steffi, how are you? All these lovely faces, just you just can't walk by. You just can't walk by it. Thanks for being here, Steffi. But yeah, no, what I was saying was, so Marvel across the board, all their iterations in multiple different publication houses, it really required that shakeup that really only Deadpool as a character can give. Nobody else is allowed to play it. I guess Thanos could have gotten away with it,
I mean, She-Hulk kind of got away with the gimmick.
Well, except did she?
You
know what? Let's go back around the horn. Doc, She-Hulk also famously is a fourth wall breaker extraordinaire. I mean, She-Hulk can fucking break anything, including my heart.
She broke my heart. Yeah.
Oh, so the series and the actor, I'm gonna mangle the name, but I love the actor. I love Mark Ruffalo. I like series storytelling like that duration in order to do it. But obviously, She-Hulk has had nowhere near the impact that Deadpool has. Bill, what'd you think about She-Hulk as a series?
So I like She-Hulk as a character. It was a train wreck. My son and I watched it every week and just were like, why are we doing this to ourselves? I wanted to like it. I kept thinking it'd be something, maybe, Daredevil's on, maybe it'll be better. Nope, he's got to do the walk of shame with the shoes. I'm like, was it worth it to do that to that character for that laugh? She-Hulk twerking.
He's kind of a slut.
Oh, he's definitely a slut. Yeah. Yeah, he's banged like half of them. But I was very in the season finale, I was just like, it just kept getting worse. Like, maybe there's going to be a saving moment. For me, there wasn't. And it was a shame because it's a really good character.
Oh, phenomenal character. I'm hoping with the new Fantastic Four that they know how to use all of their kind of like
Toys.
their side pieces. Brendan,
She-Hulk is never a side piece,
She is
sir.
for some of us. Hey yo, Brendan, what'd you think about She-Hulk? Just out of curiosity, especially the fourth wall of it all.
I mean, the series was hit or miss for me. Unpopular opinion. I
We love those.
enjoyed it poking fun of itself with the whole Feige machine. I thought that was kind of self-aware, but also making fun of your target audience that is watching it. So
it's slippery slope.
yeah. So like I thought it was a good idea that was executed poorly.
That's fair. That's more than fair. Andrew, what about you?
It wasn't the greatest series, but it,
Honestly, I wish we could just have the facial description pop up, but also be read for the audio version. You face it a lot just now. I'm sorry to interrupt you, so please go
no,
on.
it also wasn't as bad as a lot of like the reviewers and just the general audience made it out
Fuck
to be.
reviewers.
Because yeah, like it's one of the many like shows in general, especially like Disney, Marvel, that were like review bombed. Like it was dumb. It was fun. It wasn't. It didn't hurt anybody. I don't think it was awful.
Okay, that's fair enough. Were there moments in it where you walked away singing that She-Hulk right there, or were you kind of neutral to the character?
I wasn't like a big She-Hulk character.
I'm cool.
reading the comments. Wasn't a huge She-Hulk character, like a fan.
Gotcha,
it wasn't
gotcha.
like comics I read or like a lot of the shows I've seen. But I wasn't I wasn't mad about it.
Fair.
Like
That's
nothing
totally
I saw
fair.
was like, this is MCU's dead. I hate it. Ruined my life. Like, insane.
Well, the thing about MCU that you can't deny, no one can deny, especially with their reacquisition of characters. I always find it interesting where somebody gets what's theirs back. You know what I mean? And then you're like, okay, let me show you what I had in mind from Jump. And truly, I guess it happened in the early 2000s where Marvel was just in so much trouble financially. 2000s? That's when all the characters got sold off.
It was like the 90s when they got sold off and stuff started popping up in the 2000s.
Okay, so late 90s, they're in all this financial trouble. They can't pay bills.
They're like, who wants Daredevil?
So they
who wants Hulk?
They roll up on the pawn shop like, I got a lot of this, I got a little bit of that, and they just started selling stuff off. And look, it comes to a point you can't be like George Lucas because he's a liar. You can't be like George Lucas and sell what you got. Granted, it was yours. You created it. You birthed it out of your whatever, and then say, I don't like what they're doing with my stuff. Well, then you shouldn't have sold it for $4 billion. Fair amount of money, but part of that money is shut the fuck up money. So I'll give them credit. I'll give Marvel credit. They didn't, at least outwardly, bitch about what was being done with it. Again, the Fox movies, the leather-clad X-Men, which we had to take. We have to take. Has everyone seen the infamous Fantastic Four movie, the VHS? I want to say mid-90s.
The one that like held on to the rights and was never released, but had an awesome.
We are gonna lose these rights. We need to make something today. So they had like just Spirit Halloween store. No offense. These costumes that just like looked off the rack, and the effects were hellacious. Has everyone or anyone seen that movie?
Seen it. I kind of love it.
Yeah.
You're in it.
Still not the worst Fantastic Four movie.
Harsh.
Poor
way harsh, Ty. Brendan, have you seen it?
That's the one before the
Jessica Alba.
Before a Latina Sue Storm.
Before
Yes, I have seen it.
Fair enough. Bill, have you?
I did not see it all the way through. I just I knew it would be time I couldn't get back in my life. Yeah. I knew that would be painful.
Wow.
I felt like you could just do that in your basement. Yeah.
I mean, I think good parts of it were shot.
I believe it was better than She-Hulk, though. I believe that's a possibility.
So I have a weird take. I have a weird take on She-Hulk because, like, I like She-Hulk until a lion's share of the finale. like my desire, cover your ears, cousin Paul, who loves the Fantastic Four more than he loves the Breathe.
Paul is a Fantastic Four
Fucking
devotee.
She-Hulk to me, I'm in no way offended by She-Hulk. I think she looks awesome. I love that she gave Nat a good rogering in the comic books. When they announced her series, I was like, yay, more Marvel, because I like shit by default, despite the rest of my personality.
That was his sound. That's
so for
true.
me, like, She-Hulk was like, that was a good way to spend 22 to 28 minutes. Then the finale, like I forget if it was, I think it was Brendan who said it, like, the finale mocked me for enjoying. Like, could you imagine a fucking dumb, stupid, fat idiot in a gray and blue jersey?
You're
like,
watching
I was like,
this right now.
I was like,
cool.
Tatiana Maslany, what did I do to you? What did I do so bad that you need to point your finger at me and yell at me?
Do it again.
Tatiana Maslany? Was that close? I'm going to assume I was close.
Okay.
Was it that I attacked it with such passion? Because I love her.
That was definitely the case. Yeah, no, I had the inverse reaction. I was like almost immediately disappointed because I really do like the character a lot, but not to stray too far away from it. They're not much different. I mean, obviously, Daredevil, Deadpool is uber violent content, which naturally resulted in the R rating. But I mean, literally, the first time that we're really seeing this character properly in CinemaScope, it's like a cartoon drawing. So the setup and then the delivery and then the end result are so chef's kiss good. Like they just knew exactly
For
what they were
Deadpool
doing.
Wolverine.
For Deadpool as a property. So we just recently did a rewatch of 2, and I had before that rewatched 1. Just kind of going into, I always like to remind myself of the franchise going into a new installment, and they just got it. They just got it so well to the point where I cannot believe. I'm sure someplace there's 1 or 2 hiding out behind rocks. Well, I can't believe that anybody out there who's a Deadpool fan is like, no, that's not right. He spins his swords clockwise, not counterclockwise. Shut up to those people.
I have a
if
theory.
there are even any, they just nailed the character so accurate.
See, I have a theory though about Deadpool fans. There are Deadpool fans, and there are people who they think they're Deadpool fans, and the people who think they're Deadpool fans are the ones that think that character, despite being like an emo baby, right? He's the crying clown. That is the character on the page. He's the crying in the movie. He's the crying clown. Easy for me to say. The notion that anything Deadpool, the video game, being in the cartoons, the fucking card game, the fact that at any point you'd be like, that's too childish or that's too immature. I'm like, that's a fucking character.
Yeah, but that's my point. Nobody's saying that.
There's a few people who are lying and said like
Get
the guy who wrote.
We'll wait.
It was the IGN. I don't know anyone at that
It'll take a
organization.
minute.
The people who are so curmudgeon that everything must be the Batman or the Joker or the Dark Knight, where it's like Wade didn't cry for 20 minutes.
Even
therefore, this movie's bankrupt.
Fictional, boring ass people, I could not possibly care less than I do. Because I could not care less about those dum-dums.
I cannot be restrained any further. So before we move to the spoiler section, in case anyone's gonna bail, we're gonna go round table. I'll start, then we'll go to John, Andrew, Brendan, and we'll end with Bill. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think people need to see this movie in theaters?
Oh,
for me,
you mean theaters as opposed to
small screen? So instead of waiting for it to be on Disney Plus or even waiting for the DVD, do you think the theatrical aspect adds anything? Me personally,
okay,
I think it's a 10 out of 10 must see. I do not know the next time we're going to see a theater this full. Not since Barbenheimer and fucking not since Barbenheimer really exclusively have we had an instance where laughing with people has been such a fucking good time. And that was all Barbie. There wasn't too much Oppenheimer giggles coming out.
I disagree.
But a fucking packed to the rafters, fucking smell of popcorn in the air. I think it added something huge. I think this is like a Keep Theaters Alive sort of movie. What do you think? The theatrical
let's go back around.
Sure, you call it.
Let's go to Andrew. So Andrew, seeing it in the movie theater versus another option. What was your theatrical experience with this film?
So I love Charlie, but I got to go a solid 7.
That's pretty good.
I think it's a very good movie for fans of comic book movies and comic books. It's not gonna. A lot of it's not gonna hit just like people like, oh, this is a popular superhero movie. I saw it at 10:45 at night, and I am hysterically laughing at certain jokes that we will discuss when we get to spoilers. But like the group of like teenagers next to me are just like not getting it, and I'm like, so it's very good. But if you don't know a lot of like, you're not going to get a lot of the meta humor if you haven't been watching movies since 2001.
Now, in those teenagers' defense, they were probably doing whippets in the parking lot right before they walked into the theater with you. So I feel like that can probably affect.
Hey, I was doing whippets in the movie theater, and I was fine. So
Charlie was doing whippets right before we started podcasting. Brendan, what about yourself? What was your theatrical experience of the flick?
I mean, the Deadpool in me says out of 1 out of 10, I want to say 6.9 just because it's 69.
Nice.
Well done.
However, I think, and I've said this to you, John, in person, even with the Marvel movies that weren't quite as this high caliber, there's something about seeing it in an audience full of people, because there's always at least one like, oh shit moment, even in the like lower end Marvel movies, that having that audience interaction just helps a lot. So I
feels like Broadway.
Yeah. I mean, they
can't hear me. Why am I clapping?
It's the same thing. Like if you saw Hamilton on Disney Plus versus Hamilton on Broadway, it's 2 completely different experiences. You're seeing the same thing. But so I would say definitely watch it with people. Even if you want to wait for it to go to digital, get a group of friends together and watch it together.
Nice. Doc, we're going to you now. Naturally, again, you had that familial experience, which is freaking awesome. So you guys are a party, self-contained already. But what was your theatrical experience of Deadpool?
Well, I think first I got to address the elephant in the room, which is the whippets. So one, the kids probably. You kids might be doing whippets in the parking lot. If you try and ask the kids in the parking lot to do whippets with you, you're probably going to end up on my patient caseload. So I would say have at it with the whippets, but it's probably not something the kids are doing. So yeah, in terms of, I am very much for like, especially a special effects movie, like those shared experience movies. So I mean, rating wise, I'd probably go with about an 8 out of 10 for the movie itself. But to certainly see it in the movies is, it's again, the special effects movies, like, we were afraid we were going to lose movie theaters after COVID and everything else. So to have that opportunity to just see it together and just have, obviously it's a psychologist in me, right? Share that human experience is just, it adds to it all. If nothing else, the laughter, right? People are going to get a lot of it. There's a lot of gay jokes, and that's Deadpool, right? So it's something where it's when you realize
I don't know that there were jokes necessarily.
Yeah, well, and
he is canonically pansexual. He was dead serious.
I was worried about the dog. I'm like, oh shit, kid, you better get out of there quick. There's a lot of wrenching.
Yeah, I mean the dog luckily is small, so maybe less of a target, but who knows what he's packing? I don't know, but yes. In terms of experience-wise, though, it was I definitely, if you got to see it, see the movies. Don't wait for it to be on video. It's not that kind of movie.
Absolutely more than fair.
What about you?
So now here's the thing.
John's a cell phone toilet movie watcher. He's like, let me go ahead and just watch Oppenheimer.
I would have watched it on my watch. I'm like, oh shit, they're killing it right now. When it's material that I know that I'm going to just imbibe and chew over, I'm gonna make it happen regardless. There are very, very few movies where I think I have to see this in the theater. This is one of those things I need to see it splayed out across the side of a building. Something like Dune comes to mind right away. I have to see it in a theater, at least that first time, so that initial experience is exactly that. It's like you feel the sand and wind on your face. You can smell sandworm. No, I know you do. But really good, bad, or medium comic book movies, I absolutely insist you have to see them with your Charlie, because the moment when something happens where you have either been waiting for it, didn't expect it to occur, or recognize it immediately as the shout out that it is, this action means everything to me. Like, this poor kid has gotten more bruising on his body because of superhero movies across the board. Like, I'm shocked that you're just not a super villain at this point.
All of my movies are 40X.
Like,
all my shit's twisters.
But this movie in particular, this is one of those flicks where you're Deadpool. You're breaking the fourth wall around you to talk to people in real life. Did you just see that? Oh, I can't believe they referenced that. I can't believe they just fill in the blank.
Yeah.
There are so many moments of it, and some of it, quite a lot of it, is audio. Like it comes in terms of dialogue. The visuals are outstanding. The effects are outstanding. Charlie, one of my very, very top of the pile favorite X-Men is Colossus. And I have seen drawings of Colossus that were less accurate than what they were able to do with this flick. I also kind of like Shatterstar, but that's the jerk in me coming out. I also feel like I'm just a little bit better. But I 100% feel that this is a community type movie. Now, the viewing that we saw, shout out Regal, also fresh caramel popcorn. Come on, what are you doing to it? I'm lucky that I don't go to more movies, because I would be diabetic in about 32 seconds. Fresh caramel popcorn.
It's okay, buddy. We'll get you some.
All right. So the next shout out is for fresh caramel popcorn. No, I 100% believe this is a flick you need to see as part of the community, this community of nerds and geeks and basement dwellers and secret franchise devotees. This is one of those movies. This is our Christmas. This is our 4th of July. This is everybody. We're banging the drums. Get out now. This is where we get to cash that check. So I 100% agree with you all. See it with the group. See it at least with your Charlie, and give him Black and Blues like he deserves.
It's true.
Anyone who tells you that this is the type of movie it's okay to watch on your phone, tucked away in the corner, hiding from on your lunch break, is one thing and one thing only. We referenced him earlier. Stop crying, you rich son of a bitch. Because George Lucas is, and everybody knows it. Charlie, what is he?
He is a goddamn liar. Why, John?
Cheers, boys.
Because
on shop first. You know it. You know it's true.
Available now in our Etsy store.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Woo! That was just rubbing alcohol.
It is rubbing alcohol.
Speaking of rubbing alcohol,
or nail polish remover. Good Lord.
We are now, my beautiful friends, fully in the spoiler zone.
Spoiler time. So now that lovely,
I have 7 more animations for this part of the show.
Spoiler animation is brought to you by our beautiful and generous sponsors. Want to shout them out, Charlie?
Oh, absolutely. Every week we are brought to you by one of our absolute favorite bands, and that, of course, is Bad Mary.
Yeah, Bad Mary.
Damn. You heard them during the beginning. You're going to hear them again at the end. If you're wondering where else you can catch their act, you can find them over at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary Band. You can stay up to date at badmary.com. And the best news is all of their music library is available across all music streaming services, including the brand new released Betterer Days. They went back to the well. They pulled out an old album. They put a new, a fresh coat of paint on it. Absolute banger after banger.
Holographic cover on that bastard. Also, you can't ever forget You got to ask the question where we dropping, and the answer this week and every week is with Sergeant Finesse Gaming, doing his thing over on Kick.com. Also doing some Facebook gaming recently. Just can't make up his mind. But just an absolute unbelievable multi-game streamer all the time. And when you're talking about streamers, you can't you can't forget Twitch's own Jokers _stream_. Literally one of the best times that you can have watching a gamer run through, and very Deadpool-esque, may I say, just talking all kinds of shit to other gamers as it's happening. Unbelievable. Fortniter. The funny thing about Joker stream, just real quick side story, joined us kind of like in that era when Fortnite made the switch over to the non-build mode. And every time you simplify a game, I'm like, oh yeah, that's absolutely. I'll start now. Joker is one of the greatest builders you have ever seen. The fucking pyramids in Egypt, a joke. Machu Picchu, nothing. Joker's got the fucking everything on. Everything.
Oh, a funny joke out of my brother.
The building skills are ridiculous, and then you're appreciating the building nature, and then you get headshot from like a mile away. Joker Stream knows how to do it.
Joker Stream, aka Bob the Builder.
Absolutely. Just a great streamer. Both great streamers. Check them both out whenever the opportunity presents itself.
So you've been warned. We told you what's next. If you're still listening, if you're still watching,
shame on you.
Obviously, you fell in love with one of these gorgeous faces, or maybe more than one. We like to share. We like to party. Cameo City. This should have been called Deadpool, and the cameos that Charlie wanted. Holy fucking shit. Wesley Snipes shows up as motherfucking Blade. If you gave me a questionnaire and you said, I'll give you all the money.
Whoa. I want to do a reenactment before we get too crazy. These two luscious summer bitches are walking into the theater, and Charlie probably asks me 56, 57 questions a day.
At least.
At minimum. So in this moment, Lou, all I'm thinking about is caramel popcorn. I think we've established that.
It's true.
Lou.
You're welcome, by the way.
And
Charlie gift.
And Charlie says, hey, John, what camera you hoping to see in? And I'm so, you know what, Charlie, it's a good question. Let me give it a quick think. What about yourself? Because I'm a nice guy. Charlie says, let's see how good your memory is. Charlie says,
I don't remember.
He's a piece of shit. What a piece of shit liar. Charlie's like, Daredevil. Daredevil all day. And I was like,
any Daredevil. I would have taken the motherfucker who hung out with Hulk in the court.
So there is a less than 0% chance you're getting any kind of Daredevil.
You got referenced.
But
that's close.
Did you see him?
In my heart.
Yeah, with your eyes closed, you saw him maybe.
Always.
0 chance. To the
That's
point
the only
where
way I can finish anymore.
I kind of gave you a little bit of shine when Elektra shows up.
Shows up when I close my eyes. When you come my day. Nope. Not that.
John, however, said, Charlie's like, what about you? I'm like, no hesitation.
Oh, I can reenact my reaction.
Blade.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard, John. Blade will never. Then Blade showed up and I punched him in the face.
At one point, will you just start listening to me? God damn it. Doc, we're going to go up your way. Favorite cameo. It can be a variant. It can be somebody who showed up out of the blue. It can be the fucking best boy in the credits. What was your favorite cameo in this flick?
Yeah, I got 2. I got Channing Tatum as Gambit. It's it was a long time coming. So, and it wasn't just like they gave him some time, they gave him some dialogue, they gave him some Gambit moves. So I'm glad he's not Gambit in the MC universe, or but it was cool to see
Gambit is not in the MCU as a character.
And then what was the other one that I was excited? Actually, so I did think Cap was Cap, and then it was Johnny Storm, which I think was a great twist, and I think that was like a great cameo.
Fucking perfect I didn't even realize they de-aged him. The little red on his arms, his blue high collar. I honest to God thought the joke reveal was gonna be when he pulled off the like bed sheet. I thought it was gonna be like a comic accurate cap suit. I thought that was gonna be what was funny about it was like, yeah, just a less jacked version of him, just in a the boring ass flat one layer of material.
That's fair.
Oh my God, just fucking ruled.
So, but those are dynamite ones, Bill. Dynamite ones. So let me ask you this question: how familiar were you, Bill, with the Gambit of it all? Like we were supposed to have seen Gambit forever, standalone movie, this, then the other thing, and obviously Fox had a stranglehold on that property for so long, so they really just were doing whatever the fuck they felt like doing. How educated were you with the Gambit politics going in?
But not. I mean, I know Channing's been, kind of lobbying for this for years, and obviously they've opted not to. They tried it with Wolverine Origins. That was sorry, Drew, but that was a disappointment. But yeah, but he likes She-Hulk too. So what can I tell you? So yeah, I don't.
Gambit and She-Hulk series coming.
So I was pumped to have Gambit. Be cool to see if they actually give him like a good movie character moving forward. And chatting. I don't know. His face looked a little full in the whole scenario. It was just. I know they'll go for comic accurate, but I don't. If they can make him pull it off in the movies.
Anybody's face is going to look its best wearing like a
headband cheek,
a head jerkin.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I gotta tell you, regarding the costume, when you first see Gambit, I'm like hilarious that it's so accurate. It looks. The minute I saw him in a wide with his like silver fucking knee-high boot, I was like, oh, it actually looks awesome. Like,
shin guards,
don't ever zoom in on
pink.
him. Looked fucking on with his staff. I was like, have I completely changed my mind in one scene?
So was his accent? Sorry, was his accent good or not good? Because I figured it sounded like the guy from Waterboy.
It was good for nothing.
I do think he tried though.
It did.
I think they just didn't afford him time with a dialect coach. I think that was him trying.
He's had decades to work. Can you just imagine showing up to offices?
Let me give you your Zorro accent. You've been practicing for Zorro for fucking goddamn years.
Yeah, but it's a different Zorro.
It's
a Zorro that's
Long Island Zorro.
Yeah, it's Brooklyn, Long Island Zorro. Truly, if he had just showed up in the offices, like, yeah, well, listen to this shit, and then maybe did a little dance or something like that. The greatest cameo was his coat. His coat looked like it was literally drawn on him. It was amazing. That coat was.
Do you remember the toy by any chance?
Of course I do.
The fucking toy had like the collar part molded, and it was the perfect. It was like Ridge City, Utah. I wanted to rub my face on that coat so bad.
You could escape from jail, just dig a hole in the wall like a fucking Shawshank Redemption.
Brendan, what about you? Favorite cameo?
Non-aquatic.
I mean, This one wasn't my favorite cameo. However, I thought it was a really clever.
Answer whatever question you want. It's your podcast. Fucking guy. I'm just kidding.
I am gonna say my favorite
season.
I really think Oz season 3 was the height of that show. Yeah. Fucking guy not paying attention to the fucking podcast.
I thought that the blade bait and switch was really clever because in the trailer there's one of the extras that looks like Sticky Fingers Blade, and everybody's like, is that Sticky Fingers from Blade the series?
Yep.
So in my head, I'm like, I wonder if Wesley Snipes is gonna show up. And sure enough, he did. So I was like, that was clever.
That's a tremendous, because now Sticky Fingers might just be doing extra work nowadays. So you could have been right.
You know what's
right on both
funny though? That guy's wearing, I think, a Ravenger's costume.
Oh really?
They just like went to the costume department of Guardians and they were like, thank you.
Just put
it on a black guy.
What would fit this guy right here?
Yeah.
But I'm actually gonna agree with Joker stream here. Brown suited Wolverine versus Hulk was my favorite little cameo bit.
Ooh, just delightful. Also, the one thing I will say is like, now that people are trying to get, these pieces of garbage go online and they're like, well, Deadpool's popular. Let's dedicate like a whole podcast episode to spoiling it with our friends. Like, who the fuck just wants to hang out with like the host?
Everyone
of a
who we
podcast?
care about has
and
seen it
their
already. We can say anything.
The brown suit, I almost wish was the suit the whole time. It's perfect. The brown suit is so not a Marvel costume
What
that I think it's just glorious.
So on my wish list, obviously I knew that X-23 was in it. I wanted her in the brown suit because that's what she ran with for the longest time in the comics. And if you think it looks good on Logan, oh boy, does it look good on our lady.
John had his white pants ready.
Okay.
The one thing that would have made that little scene better and make me laugh is if like the CGI'd face on the Hulk was either Eric Bana or Edward Norton.
Can you imagine a baby face, just nightmare demon from hell, Hulk? Oh, he's behind me. He's behind me, isn't he? Oh, that's terrible. Andrew, what about you?
Well, Bill had to go and steal my favorite and go.
Way
on
to go,
his
Bill!
Fucking Bill, you jack to nightmare.
Glad I got picked first.
So, Gambit is like, he's one of my favorite X-Men. That's why X-Men Origins is so great. Yeah, like always. I thought he was the coolest person ever when I was younger. And I was
Andrew
like, man,
loves
I want-
anyone who has to edge. He's just like, you pick the one girlfriend that you couldn't borrow a fucking collar that takes away your powers. Rogue just doesn't like him. That's not even how her powers work.
It was the hot pink. It was the hot pink.
But
Everyone
I think
looks at a hot pink.
second favorite, and like, you could argue that this is the only real cameo in the movie, was Cavalry. Amazing. Henry Cavill as the Wolverine.
Calvary.
Only dreamed about in the hot-fetid minds of nerds everywhere.
Did you like that he does the fucking?
Oh, he
Cavill has a trademark. I love that.
And you can all thank Tom Cruise for that. So once again, we praise you, Tom Cruise.
You leave
in all of your
superior Iron Man to do a superior Iron Man.
When he
shit.
comes for me in the spaceship, you'll all be sorry then. Tom Cruise doing it again.
What about you? What's your number one seed? Gross.
I mean, again, there were so many cameos. That was actually one of my prevailing thoughts. Also, afterwards, I have to see this again almost immediately because I know for a fact, and I do know for a fact because things have been like, hey, look for this, look for that. There was stuff that was just absolutely missed. But in terms of kind of like the absolute obvious cameos, I'm gonna have to go and do one of my favorite things and credit myself because I said on this very show, those many years ago, you know what would be really cool is if we get Chris Evans and you go up to him and it's like, oh yeah, you know, Cap, we're gonna need this and we're gonna need that, and we get a flame on, and it's Chris Evans, but you're really getting Johnny the Human Torch Storm. It like a person with don't talk to me. Like a person with a bad knee, like the creaky old timer in West Virginia was just rocking in the rocking chair, like, oh, my knee done swell up. We're getting rain soon, methinks. Do they have that accent?
Yes.
Yeah, that was accurate.
Yeah.
And I'm making fun of this guy with the thing in the place.
Perfect.
I was so I sat back in my chair. I'm like, no, don't do this. Don't do it to me again. They have taken so many of my ideas of toys that I don't own and just like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this right now. It should be called they're Johnning it.
Yeah.
Oh, they just Johned it. I called it. Now how they handle it, again, chef's kiss. They handled it perfectly. So you know what? I'll take the idea. Fine, just take it. I loved it. I loved it.
I call it Johnning it when you like go into something with good intentions.
Oh,
and then it goes terribly wrong. That's already Johnning it.
Not wearing pants.
So this would be Johnning it as well.
John Higgins is great.
The for me, you know, I'll bury the lead on this one. For me, this movie, the Deadpool trilogy, I think might be up for debate. I'll wait till I see it again. I'll wait for recency bias to go away. This might be the best comic book trilogy of all time. If you think about all the ones that come before it, Batman Returns, then Batman Forever, a movie I like, but it's not hard to say like, oh, that movie actually sucks. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. I just blanked Val Kilmer. Superman 2. Oh my God, we're heading towards a perfect. Superman 3. Need not say. To me, I think Dark Knight's trilogy is disqualified. I think Dark Knight Rises is, in my opinion, a bad movie. again, we're not here to talk about that on this episode, but I'm saying that would be what it's up against.
What?
X3, not good. A lot of times
Bad movie.
you get to the third installment.
Sorry, everyone.
A lot of times you get to the third installment and it falls off the track. Deadpool 3 to me absolutely fits with Deadpool 1 and 2. Absolutely elevates everything because they were able to, because of the Marvel of it all. And yet, if you look at reviews from major outlets like IGN, if you look, I know you hate this part of the show. If you look at these people who are supposed to know what they're talking about, there's one prevailing.
Don't.
I'm not saying that they do. I'm saying that they're supposed to. The prevailing thought is this isn't a movie. This is someone dumping out the toys you wanted to see. They're shaking car keys in front of you. It's one-note jokes, potty humor, and violence set to ironic needle drops. Now, to me, I agree with all that shit, except I'm joyful when I say it. For me, this film does what it has to. It fits the character. For me, there was no need to be deeper. I think this movie has a natural depth to it. So when it just comes to being a movie, I want to know what your feeling is. Take out that emotional part that if you, like me, love Ryan Reynolds, love the character. I'm so happy for fucking Hugh Jackman and his incredible fucking abs at 96 years old, freshly divorced, adding that joke in. Apparently a Hugh Jackman line that he floated to Ryan in the film.
How does that even work?
That's Hugh Jackman. It was his idea. Like, say I'm out of shape. That's why I'm wearing the outfit because of my divorce. Divorce happened while they were filming. That shit wasn't like an old wound. Fresh fucking wound for good old Logan. To me, this film is everything it needed to be, and thus is fucking glorious and perfect and wonderful.
What did you really think?
I liked it a lot. Andrew, I'll kick it to you because you seem to be the one who's most reasonable in these situations.
We don't want the good doctor to steal your answer.
Yeah.
What did you think is fucking a movie? You have a head pool behind you, and now you have the mic in front of you.
All right. So as a movie, it's not great.
All right, let's just go ahead and we'll just get rid of Andrew for the remainder of the show.
Should have started with the doc.
Look, all right, it's very fun. Look, it could be a not great movie, but also be super fun. The plot, paper thin. Look, Wolverine has a great character
So were my
arc throughout
trousers
the
by the
entire
end.
movie. Look, Wolverine has a great character arc. He had the same character arc in Logan. It's the same exact one. He's the same person. So, like, the plot, it's barely there, but it's a really fun movie. Like, you can't not enjoy it. Like, you're gonna go see it and you're gonna love it. But where's the plot? The plot doesn't make sense.
So we often have the conversation of a movie that you really, really enjoyed, dare I say, even loved. But by the definition of the terms, right, like the textbook stuff, is not a good movie, right? It's not like in theater we say, well, this show's a lot of fun. It ain't Shakespeare, but it's a lot of fun. So those are often the most enjoyable type of shows that you do. I know that I've certainly done more than a few of them with some of these faces here. But did you not enjoy yourself, or was what you thought of as the shortcomings of it as a film take you out of it to the point where you weren't having a good time?
No, not at all. Like those.
Okay.
I enjoyed everything in there, and like I'm sitting there, I'm loving it. I'm laughing. I'm like enjoying it more than the people around me. But like once you have time to sit on it and think about it more, that's when you like nitpick and you can see like the issues. It doesn't mean the movie's any worse than like I still enjoyed it, but it's just like you can't say greatest film all time.
See, that's the problem. He critically thought about it. Why would you fucking steal joy from yourself? What a
bad way to go through life.
Yeah, Andrew, you and I need to have a long talk about just avoiding feelings. You just stuffed that into cancer or a fucking eating disorder. I chose the eating disorder, but regardless, no, it's a valid thought. It's the wrong thought. So let's go to the good doctor, Dr. Bill. What about you, bud?
Oh, I'm reflecting or thinking about the whole trilogy thing, and I'm sitting there thinking like, what superhero ones? Because then I'm thinking, Star Wars, the original trilogy, and Lord of the Rings. But in terms of superhero, that's not them. So, yeah, I was really kind of hard pressed. So I do want to think about that one more. But I gave it an 8 out of 10. Just a couple things took me out, and I don't know if they were trivial or not. The Wolverine that they picked, if they were going to go that direction with it, which I thought was very cool, I wish they just did the Old Man Logan storyline then, and just said, he killed the X-Men because he was mind wiped or whatever. To say he was drunk at the bar and the X-Men got killed, that took me out, because if it was for comedy or ironic purposes, but it just didn't. It just took me out. If they're gonna put so much weight on the movie on why he was that version, I just think they missed. They could have made a better choice in that. And the ending part.
Just a real quick aside, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
For a split second, I thought you said that virgin, and then my mind's like, well, that would explain why Wolverine's so mad all the time.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of pent up right there. Yeah,
get him, show the boy a good time. But
if
I'm
he
sorry,
was
I didn't
200 years old and a virgin, Wade would have seen to that shit.
But
third act, Logan's all happy and shit.
You want to live forever. Anyways, please continue your thought. I'm sorry.
You want to live forever. You have to keep your seed. I'm gonna die young, baby.
And the only other thing that took me out
shit away
was the ending when it's just kind of like it was like a bad video game ending. It was just like, oh, you have to connect these two wires. And even if they did that and it had an impact on the Marvel universe, which maybe it will later, I was, and this is, as a psychologist, I always say don't go into expectations of things because you can miss stuff, right? But I was kind of hoping for some okay, this did something to reset the Marvel universe or point us in a direction, which maybe they will and go back to it, but it didn't seem consequential. And for this being the only movie for the year, I was like, I would have liked it to just give us, something moving forward.
That's more than fair. What I want to say before Charlie take a different direction. So I went in as kind of like a different generation of comic book fan. For me,
older.
You have to barely, but
very
older.
Still have to ask. Well, that's because I don't take very good care of myself.
Yeah, no, keep it up. Appreciate that. So for me, going in, one of the most pivotal comic book moments, the one that kept you going back to in my case, it was kind of like a deli / malt shop because I am that old. It was Secret Wars. You had to know every release date. What's the new Secret Wars event? What's it building up to? And people kept on referencing it. And stupidly, I'm like, oh, well, that clearly must be true because everyone knows more than me. They don't. Nobody knows more than me. So I'm thinking, yes, this is going to be the lead into Secret Wars. And this is going to be ultimately that would be the singular Marvel event that I have been waiting for since Iron Man, really. Secret Wars, let's get going. And I'm not saying that that's not going to be the case. I'm just saying that it wasn't a glaring, obvious, next up Secret Wars type of moment. What was, though, and again, this is obviously leading into the spoiler section, the pivotal person. Now, granted, I understand where you're coming from, Bill, where it wasn't the shiniest version of Wolverine that we're going to pick to be like, okay, well, that's this reality's singular most important what's it, the anchor being. Yeah, their anchor baby is the
universe anchor baby.
Your
relationship not going well? Get yourself a new Logan.
I think we know which way more fucking Wolverine is gonna vote come November.
Mom may like John Moore, but I'm the anchor baby of the Rivera household.
Unbelievable. So if that's going to be the anchor being for that timeline, then it almost doesn't matter. I think this is all stuff that happened off screen. But we learned about anchor beings, and something that popped Andrew's tits, we know because we got the message almost immediately. You want to talk about an anchor being, especially for the MCU, you have to talk about Tony Stark.
I mean, RDJ might be this reality's anchor being.
For me, it is. And we got this recent news that people all over have lost their minds about, that we are going to see RDJ as Doctor Doom. So if that's speaking to now kind of an element, is almost like the Metachlorians being introduced to this world that we thought we already knew. Like, wait a minute. Now there's going to be some ham-handed science thrown at me. Fuck, now we got to take notes again. We now have the concept of anchor beings being thrown at us. So I respectfully, because I don't want to get beat up, I respectfully disagree with the Dear Doctor. I think it can be a consequential entry just in the simple fact that we now know anchor beings exist.
Yeah.
We now know that they're important. And we've gotten this huge curveball thrown at us with RDJ joining the MCU proper as Doctor Doom. Now, we all are guessing already. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean it's going to be a voiceover, like a Pedro Pascal type of Mandalorian performance? We're just going to hear this person and we're going to see the mask, which would be my personal preference.
As would be mine.
Obviously,
Yeah.
we're one person. Or does it mean that we're going to get Tony Stark as Doctor Doom? Something, Brendan, you had a very, very interesting theory, which I don't know if you want to share it with the class, but I'll give you the opportunity to think about it. If we're going to get like something happened on that timeline's Tony Stark journey that led him to the Doctor Doom of it all, if we're going to get, and the comics have given us plenty of crossover with those characters where we've had Victor Von Doom kind of take up the mantle and take up the armor. The infamous Iron Man, I think, was the specific infamous. No, that was Spider-Man. Some kind of alliteration. Please do. To become kind of like this Iron Man without a kind of like a Doctor Doom version of Iron Man. I mean, there's multiple ways. Infamous. Thank you. There's multiple ways that we can go with it. Fuck, that specifically might lead to a Secret Wars scenario, but again, I think that it will be consequential. Also, the fact that Disney now is reminded, shit, we can make good money if we quote unquote give the fans what they want. Regardless of if you liked it, loved it, or were indifferent to it, this was the fucking movie that fans wanted. And I think that moment made it very, very clear when with that first fight, when Wolverine and Deadpool have that first fight, and you're like, oh shit, it's happening, gonna throw down, and they're both in costumes. The fucking here's the moment, and then it kind of ends like relatively quickly, and you sit back like, I know I did. I sat back and thought, well, that was cool. That was cool, but it was not the slobber knocker that I kind of thought was gonna happen going into it. And then tick, 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 tick. Then you get the fucking van fight.
Honda Odyssey, I think
the Honda Odyssey fight, and it is just next level.
The Odyssey fucks.
That shit could have been a flick onto itself. They threw down to Chinatown. It was awesome. It was absolutely fucking awesome. I loved it. And yeah, I agree with you, Andrew, in terms of like even pacing. Like there were certain moments I'm like, okay, let's get where we're going type of stuff. Great flick, Citizen Kane. No. Great film, rather, not Citizen Kane, but a fucking great flick, and head and shoulders above and beyond what we have gotten recently. And we keep on showing up. We keep on shelling out the shekels. We keep on showing up. Our fandom fucks. Our fandom pays, and they gave us what we wanted.
Yeah.
They gave us what we wanted. They gave us some shit that we didn't even know we wanted. But I was like, "Ooh, satiated." I filled the cup.
So far, Dr. Bill's wrong. Andrew's wrong. Before we give Brandon a chance to answer correctly, I'll just drop this in 10-second version. I actually do think what this movie does.
You answered already.
No, but I also want to respond to what Bill said.
All right.
Because what I do think that this film did was it reestablished that the kind of Fox universe is one that may come into the fight that will hopefully be Secret War. All of us that have read the comics know that Marvel vaguely follows that.
First Secret War, not second Secret War.
Fair enough.
Secret War was trash.
But even that, they may not be following. But I do know that now we have at least a Wade, we have at least a Logan, we have at least a Colossus. So there could be a different set of X-Men for this. What I think this film has is tremendous potential, but instead it focused on itself, which is something I think Marvel has fucked up epically in the past. I didn't need to see Beast at the end of this motherfucker like it did for the Marvels. What I wanted was this film to sit on its own, live and die on its own, and then later we'll fit the fucking pieces in. Brendan, floor is yours, my friend.
Okay. So when we first found out, with the infamous clip of Ryan Reynolds, hey, Hugh, you want to be Wolverine again? Sure. We knew that Wolverine was going to be in Deadpool 3. Like, we knew that. We knew that Miss Minutes teased it on Twitter, like, welcome to the TVA. So we knew the TVA
That
was involved.
sexy cartoon bitch.
So in my head, at first I thought this movie was going to be the TVA pulling in Logan for fucking up the timeline during Days of Future Past, pulling in Deadpool for going back at the end of Deadpool and shooting himself in the Fox timeline, pulling in Cable for going back and doing the events of Deadpool 2, because that movie doesn't exist without Cable going back in time. So 3 of them violated their timelines at some point. That's what I thought the movie was going to end up being about. It wasn't. But I feel like, and Charlie, you said that it sits on its own, but I don't feel like that's actually what it did. I feel like it bridges the gap between Marvel and Fox. And I think they did that very much in your face at the end with Deadpool grabbing one side and Logan grabbing the other. You're grabbing the two and bridging them together.
I kind of thought that was the symbology that they were going for.
Exactly. So I think that the movie did what it needed to do for that. So now Deadpool can not only slip into Marvel stuff, but he can, still exist in 20th Century Fox stuff. It also opens the doors, in my opinion, for them to re-release all of these older movies, but recut with Deadpool interjecting Stadler and Waldorf. Like,
I legitimately thought the exact fucking same thing. I would do all new special editions with an intro from Deadpool.
Charlie
All
has
right,
more
there,
special editions than just movies.
and we
Brendan
all know
became teacher's pet, huh?
Disney is very good at making people pay for something more than once. So, just how they're doing all the animated as live actions, I think they're gonna you're gonna see the Thomas Jane Punisher, but Deadpool's in it somehow. How the fuck they do that? But it's still the same movie.
Giant ears. Oh,
Just like flapping them around.
Thomas Jane looking like a taxi cab driving down the street with his doors open.
And now they have.
Guys.
He's an angel. He's an angel. This is.
Now they have infinite possibilities to go there. To touch base on what John said earlier about the Doctor Doom bit, I think we're going to get one of 3 possibilities. One, you get an Iron Man 1, like that same movie, except after he gets caught and tortured, he goes in the opposite direction. Instead of becoming an anti-war person, he doubles down and invests all his money into war and just goes on a dark path. 2, you get that moment with Endgame where he snaps his finger. He goes back to that moment where he drops through the sky at the end of Avengers 1, and now he has to prepare for Doomsday. And option 3 in Multiverse of Madness, who's to say when Tom Holland's Peter Parker said he wishes nobody knew he was Spider-Man, does that only affect him or every other Spider-Man? Is there somewhere a universe where suddenly Tony Stark doesn't know his Spider-Man and that fucks him up? There's a lot of ways they can go with it. And the Russo brothers aren't exactly they aren't exactly known for sticking to the comics 100%.
Not even fucking close. No.
I mean, it should have been Silver Surfer crashing through, not the Hulk. So I'm curious to see where they go with multiple directions.
What's funny is that the doors that have been relatively kicked open, also just in terms of kind of expectation, I think with Marvel movies specifically, and certainly other franchises also, but with Marvel movies, nobody walks in the door thinking, I'm going to get a straight adaptation, a page for page. This is what happened, then this is what happened. They have characters. They have fucking Ant-Man, Pym.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Pym was responsible for Ultron. Like they, and I don't know why that one came to mind specifically, but they have
really roast your onions.
There are so many deviations from this led to that, and the longer that we now get away, it's like our timeline has been fucked. Right, somewhere there's a timeline for all of us where the Marvel movies are straight adaptations of shit we want. And I think I'm gonna make you finish it now. So, like the DC animated studios have been put up on such a fucking such on a pedestal because they are straight adaptations.
Yeah.
You could follow along with the comic that it came from and say, oh, there's that. But those movies don't fuck. Those movies are not billion-dollar properties. Granted, they're animated, but still, you get what I'm saying. So they're both right and a little fucked to be making these big changes to our static memories. But that's exactly what happens, and that's now what we've come to expect. We have been, they ring the bell and we drool and we show up, and again we pay out for the privilege to be there. But now, if there was something a straight adaptation, straight from comic books to the screen, I'd be like, what the fuck? Well, I already knew this story.
See, not me. I kind of hope that what we're eventually going to get is Secret Wars resets. We can finally comfortably recast all the people who aren't like Ryan Reynolds, who wants to do it for
all
80
the
years.
people who were literally left in the sideline for Secret Wars? They're just walking down the street, la la la, we're in Central Park. This is a great day. Oh, I'm gone. Oh, I didn't make the cut for Secret Wars. That sucks. The A-list characters that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has established, they worked hard. It's goddamn hard work to make this comic, this character matter. We don't even have the right Iron Man.
But that's what I'm not saying that that'll be the adaptation. I'm saying that this version of Secret Wars will let us kind of set the Marvel, because again, in my opinion, we never really saw the Avengers be the fucking Avengers. And what I really want out of the next iteration, when they do reboot, because that is what this Secret Wars is more than likely going to lead to, I want to finally fucking see Avengers Tower be that fucking center point. I want to see more than half a movie with Iron Man and Cap working together. I want to see Hank Pym fucking holding fingies together with love and adoration. That's what happened. How dare you?
The water was. I didn't like the water.
You're rude. You didn't drink water.
I'm gonna.
Rude. That's what I'm hoping comes of it. It's hard not to be excited. It's just good leaving a Marvel movie without being like, well, fucking, that was okay, I guess. Like, I fucking have done that for the last 35 fucking. It's been since Iron Man 3. You know, it feels like.
I'm still holding out for a World War II set movie with Cap, Wolverine, and Magneto. Like, give me it.
And now we can do it.
Certainly can.
Now we can fucking do it.
Yeah.
John,
let's do it.
I hate to be the one to bring it up because I would do this for the next 9 hours. We're just about out of time.
Yeah, that shit happens.
Take us home, bro.
All right, so here's my elevator pitch. No, just kidding.
Wolverine and Deadpool and Spider-Man and Daredevil and Elektra.
I'm sure that there are people out there who were disappointed with ultimately what we got. I'm pretty sure also that I really don't want to be anywhere around those people. They sound like they stink. This movie was just fun. Broccoli is good for you, but you're not in the mood all the time. Little Hershey bar, cheeseburger, French fries, that shit's always good. So that's my take on this flick. This was, if it was fast food, it was just nom, 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 nom. It was just so good. Again, Charlie's story about me, I'll repeat. I was smiling from ear to ear from the fucking beginning, from the opening of the flick, including the thump, like hey, Deadpool popping up in the fucking Marvel opening where he didn't belong necessarily, to the very fucking end, to the scene that wrapped it up, the Seinfeld reference. I'm a huge mark for that shit. It was just, was it everything that I wanted? Was it everything that I thought was gonna happen? No, but I'm the worst. No movie, unless we make it directly, the fucking five of us, is gonna fall into that category neatly. But I absolutely walked out very, very, very satisfied. And I can't wait to see it again. Even to this point, I'm not above seeing it again on the big screen because I really, really enjoyed it. I had a great fucking time. Let's go around the horn. Yeah,
I like that.
All right, Andrew, kick us off, brother.
What you said.
Final thoughts on the movie.
No, it's a great movie. It's just like, it's really fun. It's a good way.
You don't have to say it begrudgingly.
No, like
Yes, you do.
There's a lot we definitely didn't get to touch on because it's how much is in it.
Ew,
Like,
pervert.
Huge. Yeah.
It is huge. What up? Veiny.
All right.
Way to make it weird, Drew.
so, all right. So my big thing is I just want to know why was Thor crying? Like what was that?
I think I know why.
You. Oh. Steffi, you better jump on. Brendan has got to figure it out. Why was he crying?
San Diego Comic-Con, in addition to announcing the whole Doctor Doom thing, they also announced that they're coming out with a Deadpool Dead comic book series where Wade's daughter takes up the mantle of Deadpool. I guarantee you that exact panel is going to be in the first issue, and that's how Deadpool dies, and you find out in that comic book.
You
I
know
like
what?
that.
I love the headgear, but we may have to get you a Sherlock hat instead because you are making a lot of sense, my friend.
Can you just put it on top of the octopi?
We have a very strict no hat on a hat policy here.
Fair enough.
Doc, what about yourself?
So I've been reading comics religiously since 1991, and it's a very cool story. If I'm on another time, I'll tell you the story of how I even got into comics. So I mean, there was so many panel recreations from the comics. From Deadpool and Wolverine have been doing this for years. So to just see such fan service, to just see those panels on screen, like you can tell the love behind it. So obviously it's easy to have the criticisms of it, but to just be able to have that on screen and like how many poses Wolverine had and the straight up yellow and blue and everything else, like it was very, very cool to just have this in our lives to be able to experience.
Can I, with all due respect, can I revisit what I literally had the thought of? I think I may have even said it to you, Charlie. Something happens in the flick, and I'm thinking, fucking Bill's gonna lose his mind for this. Gonna lose his absolute mind. Is it okay if I recreate the moment for our friends here, our friends of viewers? It looked a little something like this. So here's Deadpool. I'm funny. I have a lot to say. And then Wolverine does one of these. And then pulls up that fucking Wolverine mask with the big flippity flops on the side. Hey, Lisa, thanks for being here. It was one of those sit back and just drink it in type moments. Am I wrong, or did you just absolutely lose your mind when that mask went up?
Oh, it was great to have him like he's with the mask after all this, and for to do it in a way that like looked cool, because obviously that's a hard one to pull off. So they did nail that.
They animated the eyes. I would have lost that bet. My money was on he was going to at some point, or one of his variants was going to wear the mask. The fact that he wore the mask for so much of his screen
like
time,
the whole third act,
they gave him the Deadpool like white lens, full, like fucking Marvel one time learned the right lesson. Yes to masks.
Yeah.
It's like Batman, but he can move his neck. That killed me.
Just awesome. Just two Batmen kissing.
Just so great. Just absolutely so great. And you can't help but look. You have a great fucking meal, and you're like, it would have been nice. 2 desserts. Fuck you. You don't need 2 desserts. Enjoy what you got, you piece of shit. But yeah. So Charlie, your final thought.
I'm gonna wind up seeing this like 5 times in theater because it's just a happy. Everything about it made me feel good.
And also, you're always at the theater.
So
you have to go pick up your mail.
So just to pick up a relatively loose thread that. And we'll talk about the boys. Please come back another time. We'll talk more Marvel. We'll talk more comic book movies. But the one thing I will want you guys to report back on is what you think the end-all, be-all trilogy in the comic book cinematic landscape is. For me, the 3 contenders. The thing I'm going to figure out, is it the Iron Man trilogy, which I love? Is it the Guardians trilogy that I love? Or is it this now Deadpool trilogy? The reason I bring that up, though, is because Guardians made me feel so many feelings, including like despair and joy, and made me cry. Iron Man 3 is very much it's about a dude questioning himself. There's something about the questions Deadpool asks himself in his 3 movies that because he's in denial about the shit that's breaking his heart, I get to be in denial. For 2 hours, I got to sit through a movie about someone having like a crisis. The whole opening of the film is like this dude who's lost, but because he keeps making dick and fart jokes, I'm able to smile for a 2-hour runtime. It's an injection of happiness.
You're talking about Nice Pool, obviously, right?
No, Nice Pool sucks.
Oh,
And I'm glad his guns were
my
stolen.
mistake. My mistake.
Although
So
I would
anyway.
like to think that I'm kind of like Nice Pool in as much as my hair is delightful. That's it. That's the only comparison. It just
You both have dogs.
this is the Honda Odyssey of movies because it fucks. I couldn't love it more. Ellis, with your Dark Knight trilogy bullshit, Dark Knight Rises is oh, your name is Robin? Fuck you!
Can I ask you a question? Is Indiana Jones considered a superhero?
No.
I mean, if Batman is considered a superhero,
Indiana Jones doesn't wear a mask.
you've seen him marrying, getting some.
Yeah.
It's not the years, honey. It's the mask, baby. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome. We absolutely need to do something like this again in the very near future. Also, as well as we need to do individual upcoming episodes with all three of you. You guys were outstanding, very knowledgeable. The opinions were flowing cheap.
They were
which I love.
questionable.
Ooh, I love a cheap opinion. Just meet you around back, honey. God, truly, thank you so much for joining us. We all in agreement. We're gonna do this again.
Absolutely.
100%.
Sure.
Maybe not with
Charlie.
Charles.
Martin, I will tell Martin if you don't. Thank you so much for joining us also, as well as, but Charlie, as we do each and every end of the episode, I'm going to go ahead and show him how it's done, but you press the fucking button.
Oh, I'm going to do it because first we got to say you're welcome, panel, because you got to be on this side of the podcast where you clearly belong, but it is our gift to you. First, we're going to turn the power on. Then we're going to turn the volume up, tune Bad Mary, and open up the window wide. And scream out into that beautiful night sky, save Miss Space Girl. We out.